Hello, my name is Miss Funmi. Now let's simplify blockchain technology. What if there is an easier way to complete transactions without having to deal with online wallets, banks, and third-party applications? Let's imagine 4 friends: Jack, Ted, Sam, and Phil. They meet up for dinner. After they are done, Jack pays the bill, and they all agree to split it among each other. Now on the next day, Phil sends his share to Jack via online money transfer. The transaction goes through without a hitch. Then Ted and Sam send their respective shares to Jack, but their transactions don't go through. These failed transactions pose some issues at the bank. Oh, there are so many ways that the bank transaction could fail. If it be say, bank no get network, them don't hack my account, or I don't even exceed my daily limit, and sometimes additional charges like transfer charges associated with transferring money. So to solve these problems, the concept of cryptocurrency came into existence. Cryptocurrencies are a form of digital or virtual currency that run on a technology known as blockchain. Cryptocurrencies are immune to counterfeiting. They don't require a central authority, and they are protected by strong and complex encryption algorithms. So back to our previous example. Phil, Ted, Sam, they all send Jack 2 bitcoins each as their contribution to the previous night's dinner. Let's assume Phil, Ted, and Sam have 3 bitcoins in their reserve, while Jack has 5. So Phil sends 2 bitcoins to Jack. Now a record is created in the form of a block. The transaction details between them is permanently inscribed on this block. The record also holds the number of bitcoins each of the friends own. So after Phil's transaction, Jack has 7 bitcoins, while Phil has 1. Following this, Sam and Ted send 2 bitcoins each to Jack. A new block is created for each of these transactions. These blocks hold the transaction details, as well as how many bitcoins Sam, Ted, and Jack have in their reserve. These blocks are linked to each other, as each of them take reference from the previous one for the number of bitcoin each friend owns. This chain of records or blocks is called a ledger. Now this ledger is shared among all the friends, which act as a public distributed ledger, and it forms the basis of blockchain. So what happens when Phil has only 1 bitcoin left and he tries to send 2 more bitcoins to Jack? The transaction no fit work now, because all the friends have copies of the ledger, and it is clear that Phil has only 1. Abi one con guy man. His friends will flag this transaction as invalid. A hacker will not be able to alter the data in the blockchain because each user has a copy of the ledger. The data within the blockchain are encrypted by complex algorithms. All of this is made possible with the help of blockchain technology. Blockchain can be described as a collection of records linked with each other, strongly resistant to alteration and protected using cryptography. Now let's have a closer look at blockchain transactions between Jack and Phil and find out how it works. Every user in the Bitcoin network has 2 keys, a public key and a private key. The public key is an address that everyone in the network knows of, like an email address of a user. The private key is a unique address that only the user has knowledge of, something like a password. So first, Phil passes the number of Bitcoin he wants to send to Jack along with his and Jack's unique wallet address through a hashing algorithm. All of this is part of the transaction details. These details are encrypted using encryption algorithm and using Phil's unique private key. This is done to digitally sign the transaction and to indicate that the transaction came from Phil. This output is now transmitted across the world using Jack's public key. The message or transaction can be decrypted only by Jack's private key, which only Jack has knowledge of. Different cryptocurrencies use different hashing algorithms, while Bitcoin uses the SHA-256 algorithm. Ethereum, which is also a famous cryptocurrency, uses one known as Ethash. This transaction and several other similar ones are taking place all around the world. These transactions are validated and then added block by block. The people who validate these blocks are called miners. For a block to be validated and added to a blockchain, miners need to solve a complex mathematical problem. The miners who solve this first add the blocks to the blockchain and is rewarded with 12.5 bitcoins. The process of solving this complex mathematical problem is called proof of work. And the process of adding a block to the blockchain is called mining. With this, Phil and Jack's wallet are updated, just like every person in the network who has completed a transaction. Hope you now have a better understanding of the blockchain technology. Now, who is excited to learn about decentralized finance?